from America's heartland, this is GJRB, Clinton, Iowa. And good afternoon, I'm Gary J. Russell. Welcome back to the Gary Russell program, and this is time for news and comment. Like I said before, it's a program that I started, part of the show which I started that dedicated to Paul Harvey, one of radio's best commentators, in my opinion. He was one of the best in talk radio and news, most news and comment. Still remember him well. One of my all-time favorite news commentators was Paul Harvey. And so I decided to start what I call Gary J's News and Comment, where I talk about what's going on in the news and give you my comment on it, on a lot of stories that developed, and some of the interesting stories that we have for you today. But here at the start of the story, I have a recording, but it's a video. It's more visual than audio, so I want to kind of save that for possibility of my YouTube show. But there was a mysterious bright light in the sky over California, which set a lot of residents into panic, according to a report by the BBC. Posted online show as a bright flare rising high above wide over what they call like a bright blue flash, which emerged in what looked like a cone shape. The video continued to track it. It was visible clear to San Francisco. Matter of fact, even some people in San Diego also saw it. Law agencies and news media in that area were flooded with calls at 6 p.m. when people reported anything from a flare to a comet to a nuclear bomb in the western sky. According to the FAA, the issues flight restrictions for the Los Angeles International Airport, denying any aircraft access to one of the frequent approach paths for international domestic travel. The explanation of this event, and there's no official explanation of this event. The official explanation also covers a lot of stories, though. U.S. Navy launched test missiles just because they routinely test them. A media in California confirmed that a light came from an unarmed Trident missile from a USS Kentucky Navy submarine. And this according to the BBC. They call this missile unarmed, but they failed to mention the fact that a Trident missile, a definition of it, carries a thermonuclear warhead. There's also no way for a media to know whether or not the missiles was already armed or not. It's the sole source of the question of the U.S. Navy itself. And then later on that last night, another breaking story came in. Another Trident missile was launched from that same boat. Trident II D5 missile, a ballistic submarine on the Pacific Ocean, which took place Monday night. And the Navy said that the blastoff took place not far, so it wasn't really from the same place. Was not far from the last one on Saturday night, which provoked residents in as far as San Francisco to Mexico to take the social media postings and taking pictures of eerie-looking bluish-green plume smearing over the Pacific. Speculations are wide-ranging, including rumors of an unworldly alien. Told you that before. People got to come up with that one. UFO, well, you gotta make it interesting. A lot of people have been reporting seeing this thing. So it's kind of interesting how these missiles are all of a sudden being seen over the Southern California coast. I mean, it's now you would think that they would warn the Navy that they were going to pull this stunt, right? But they didn't. They just shot it off. They didn't say whether or not what they were going to do, and yeah, absolutely, they were not going to tell anybody that they were going to launch these things off. They just did. So what happens is it scares a lot of people in California, frightens the living death out of them. They don't know what to think when they see this bluish blob in the sky flying overhead, because they didn't tell anyone. So we're talking about that later on too. And I'm going to be doing a scroll through social media. And of course, don't forget, we always do news and comment throughout the show. So, all right, well, let's see what else we got coming up here in the news, on our news and comment. Besides the Navy shooting off their fireworks, if you want to call it that. Coming out of the news, I just saw this posted from the Ben Carson site, which I'm fans of on Facebook because I'm a full supporter. Of course, the news media are going to dig this up. In the fall of 1962, Ben Carson checked out a library book and returned it 2 weeks late. Doesn't everybody do that? See, we're going to bring this stuff up. Okay? Presidential candidate. They're gonna bring this stuff up. Yeah. Well. I kind of figured they were gonna do that anyway, right? They're gonna find dirt on somebody. This is 1962, right? So why are they worried about a stupid library book now? Yep, because he's a candidate for president. And it has to do with honesty. Yeah. Who cares whether or not he checked in a book and turned it in late? Because he's a Christian candidate for president. What does that tell you? Here, this story of a University of Kansas, the student senate bans gender pronouns because they are microaggressions. This is according to the University of Kansas student. Senate banned gender pronouns. Gender pronouns. This is real, folks. Gender pronouns. Stating that the term poses microaggressions toward people who do not or don't fit traditional gender roles. Last Wednesday, the KU Student Senate, in a 2-3 majority vote, passed a bill altering the Senate's official rules and regulations, which would require senators to use inclusive terminology, such as they, them, or their, as opposed to his, her, he, or she. That's it. According to the story here, and this is getting too far. I mean, this kind of goes to the end of the rope here. I think we're just plain falling off the end of the world. Harrison Parker is the student senator who authorized this bill, states that this is a key first step in making our campuses more inclusive. Hopefully this will be a catalyst to create discussion on campus and to cause change to happen elsewhere. The elimination of gender pronouns, the bill claims to increase the inclusivity of student senate and prevent the microaggression gender pronouns posed to individuals who don't use them. Critics say that the student body has little evidence to back up this claim that gender pronouns produce microaggressions. Absolutely true. Yeah. Where did they come up with this microaggression stuff? What is that? I'm telling you, people, this is just getting worse as it gets. I'm telling you. Coming up next on the news and comment here on GJRB, got more including a story about what's going on in the Middle East right now. And this one, they've been talking about this. In the Middle East, there is a genocide going on, and it's dealing with sex slave. Talk about that. Sex slave ring. Talk about that coming up. And more good stuff coming up in our news and commentary coming up next on GJRB. Watch. Pray. For we not know what hour the sun
Anyone else than anyone else. Hey, all right, it's Kip Casper.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Okay, back on the air here on GJRB. Gary J. Russell with you on our news and comment. And also, a big celebration is a birthday greeting going out to the United States Marine Corps. Yeah, U.S. Marines. And let me see if I had that. Was it 150? Was it? That was, they said 150 years old? I think that's what it was. Anyway, we'll look down here. I'll find it. Marine Corps birthday today. We'll have a little bit more on this. My father was a Marine, and he served in World War II. And tomorrow's Veterans Day, so we want to remember those that served and fought for our freedoms. So let's honor a veteran over the next couple of days. Because I got to tell you, folks, people just don't respect veterans anymore, do they? You know, they treat them like dirt sometimes. It just really sometimes kind of irks me in a way, you know, the way they treat veterans now. It does. But anyway, happy birthday to the United States Marine Corps. We'll get more on that later on. And I'm going to also do my scroll through social media this afternoon. Got that coming up. And others. So let's get on there. But anyway, meanwhile, this is a story that I think is really, really great. There's a persecution, you know, of Christians going on in the Middle East right now. ISIS is really, really, really bearing down. And one of the sad stories coming out, and this is a report from CBN about a nun who's trying to protect a lot of women in what they call a sex ring going on over in these countries. So get this report now from CBN.
Some are calling it genocide. From Kenya to Syria to Pakistan, Muslim fanatics are slaughtering Christians. While Western governments have been slow to respond, activists are answering the call. Eric Stakelbeck recently spoke to a nun who's on a dangerous mission to help persecuted Christians.
The Islamic terror group ISIS is leaving a trail of destruction across large parts of Syria and Iraq, with a specific target in its crosshairs. Hundreds of thousands of Christians have been displaced from their homes, and countless others have been murdered or enslaved by the jihadist armies of ISIS. with no end in sight. Sister Hatun Dogan has been on the ground and witnessed the devastation of these ancient Christian communities. She's listened to survivors tell how Christian and Yazidi women are being sold into sex slavery.
They choose the most beautiful one, even if they have small child, and they sell these girls, these ladies, to each other. They don't sell to another religion, only to Sunni Muslim. They think there are 12,000 kidnapped in the hand of the ISIS Yazidi alone. What is going on there, what I was hearing, is the highest barbarism on the earth in the history till today.
Her foundation helps the poor and persecuted in 35 countries, providing them with food, clothing, medicine, and shelter. She travels constantly, with a special focus on the Muslim world. The rise of ISIS has frequently brought her to Syria and Iraq to help the region's beleaguered Christian minority.
I'm coming here not for holiday. I'm coming here because I like to bring the voice of the voicelesses. The world hear their voice. They don't have voice more. I am the channel for them. That is my mission.
Sister Hatun is no stranger to Islamic persecution. As a young girl, threats from local Muslims forced her family to leave their home in Turkey. They relocated to Germany, where she operates her foundation and sounds the alarm about the gathering Islamic storm.
The mission of my body, of the ISIS, is to convert complete the world to Islam religion and to bring them to Dar es Salaam, they call that. And Islam is not peace, please. And who says ISIS has not with Islam in connection or something like this, it's not true, he's liar. ISIS is Islam, Islam is ISIS.
She's disappointed by what she calls a weak reaction from the West.
We know according to the Quran, no democracy. Till these verses, no democracy. Islam democracy is opposite, like black and white. And that, I hope that America will understand. America has today the power that they can stop this disaster on the earth with another Western country.
As for Sister Hatun, she says she'll keep calling attention to the plight of followers of Jesus around the world, whether the West wants to hear it or not. Eric Stakelbeck, CBN News, Washington.
Yeah, and that is what's going on over there. It's a sad situation. Christian women that could find young nursing mothers and the women of the church. The goal was to sell them to ISIS as pleasure toys. And that's disgusting, pitiful in the heart of war. You know, and this is what I'm saying before. You know, this is that whole Sharia law thing. This is this whole Muslim thing. I just turns my stomach. The idea alone is disturbing. Nuns who are working with thousands of trafficking women or trafficked women say that it's everyday reality there for Christian communities in Syria and Iraq. And they choose the beautiful ones too. If they have a small child, they sell these women and the ladies to each other. But they don't sell to another religion. This is just anyway. This sister she's a nun, and gotta say, folks, that's just more power to her, and God bless her. Good, and I really hope that this woman does change things, and our prayers do go out to her. That's just a comment for now. Here on GJRB, this is the Gary Russin program on our internet radio. Wherever you are on the internet, if you got a way to get us, I hope you do. Coming up, I'll have a story about that, about Starbucks. There's a guy on here that really brings the point home with a minute 19-second message. And I mean, he recorded this and put it, he did a video, and he put it on his YouTube page, and then I'll talk about that coming up. It is 26 past. This is GJRB. I'm Gary J. Russin. Stay with me. More to come on the Gary Russin program. And got more good stuff on the way. So you want to stay with us? Hope you do. Got more fun stuff coming up right here on GJRB. men and women to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy. In this world of chaos and upheaval, this is the program that puts it all into perspective. How will we survive? God only knows. So trust Him and listen to the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast or live every third Friday at 11 a.m. on GJRB. We all run a busy schedule, and maybe we don't have time to catch the Gary Russa program. Well, here's the solution. The best of the Gary Russa program, highlighting the most memorable parts of recent shows. Each podcast I will play clips of previous shows and talk about them. Watch for podcast uploads during the GJRB's podcast weekend on GJRB's public site on Spreaker. Reflecting on the past memories of past shows. The best of the Gary Russa program on GJRB. Attention musicians, if you're starting a band or just starting a solo act on your own, go to the place on the internet where you can get equipment at great prices. HelloMusic.com. They have guitars, amps, mixers, and microphones, some at great low prices. Log on today and look at the equipment and the prices. www.hellomusic.com. Like them on Facebook for chances to win guitars, mics, and other band equipment. Remember the name, Hello Music. The mainstream media is not telling you the truth. They have their own agenda. At GJRB, I have mine, telling you what's really going on with sources like End Time Headlines, InfoWars, Coast to Coast AM, and most importantly, CBN News. Keeping you on top of what's happening at the top and bottom of each hour during the Gary Russa program. I'll give you the news and analysis of what I think with Gary J's News and Comment. Get the real news, true news, news that's not in the mainstream on GJRB.
Website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Randy Sutton with a great rendition of the Earth, Wind, and Fire hit record. As we get out of the break here on GJRB Online, we're going to be taking another quick program break. And then when we come back, we're going to be returning with more good stuff. I'll have Weather on the Fives coming up. Gary J's news and some more news and comment continues. We'll have a sports page. A lot of good stuff coming up around. So keep it here. The Gary Russell program continues on GJRB after this break. So hang in there.